YouTube, what's up? How are you? How have you been in this crazy holiday season? I know everybody is, well, if you celebrate secular Christmas, then you're preparing for that, and you're probably preparing for Yule too. I do both, so it's kind of busy around here. I have my tree up, got all the decorating done, and I am almost done with my Christmas shopping. So I thought today I would do a first tag, and I saw this on Annie's channel, Mirth and Reverence. It seemed like a fun tag, so I thought I would give it a go. Okay, so the first question is, how do you encounter paganism, witchcraft, or magic for the first time? I, as a child, sensed magic all around me. That was the first time I felt magic. I could just feel it when I was outside playing and listening to the animals and the birds, or if like before a storm. I remember there was a hurricane once, Hurricane David, when I lived in Jacksonville Beach, Florida. It got so quiet before the storm and you couldn't hear anything. And to this day, I have never felt more energy than in that moment. It was super intense. But as far as on my own, as like tarot cards, or probably the first time would be in my teens. I think I remember going to a bookstore and purchasing a book, and I can't remember the author, but I devoured it. And then I bought my first set of tarot cards. So I was probably about, I want to say 14, 15 years old. Uh-oh, my screen went black. I'm reading these off the computer if you wonder why I'm looking down. So the second question was, what was your first book? Like I said, I don't remember my first book. The first book that I can remember would be Z Budapest, The Holy Book of Women's Mysteries. That would be the first one that really made an impact on me. There's probably a couple before that, but I don't remember the authors because I think I mentioned before, I kind of picked it up and put it down, and went through cycles of Christian guilt when I was first, finding my path. So there was a couple that, I read and devoured and then got rid of because I thought I was going to hell. Oh well. Okay, number 3, what was the first spell you ever performed? It is my great shame to say that the first spell I ever performed was a love spell. Of course, I was a teenager and stupid, so that was the first spell I performed, and with some success, but of course with love spells there's always fallout. There's a price to be paid, and I had to pay that price. Okay, what was your first crystal or stone? That's number 4. The first crystal I ever encountered was, actually, I was in my late teens, early 20s, and I was at a bar of all places, and this kind of hippy dippy guy came in, and he had a clear quartz point about this big, and he was sort of a friend of mine, and he actually gave that to my best friend, and I was so enamored with that crystal that I begged her for it, would not stop aggravating her, and finally she gave it to me. So that was my first crystal, and I remember him telling me to set it on my windowsill during storms, and so I did that for the longest time. I would open the window whenever it was a rainy thunderstorm. I would set my crystal on the window. Okay, so number 5. Who was the first god or goddess you encountered on your path? Well, I was raised Christian, so I'm going to say the first god I encountered on my path was Jesus. I don't go for all the stuff that, to me, the Bible, while it's still an important book, I don't go with everything that's in the Bible. I love Jesus, don't get me wrong, but I don't believe all the crap that the Catholic Church or way back in the day at the Council of Nicaea, when they decided what they were going to put in the Bible, what they were going to throw out, and all that. I don't go with that. I go with the feeling I get when I spend time with Jesus, or stuff like that, or like the Nag Hammadi. That's, to me, is the real Jesus. But anyway, the first goddess I worked with was Mary, of course. That's how the goddess reached me, because I was a young Christian. After that, it would have been Isis that I worked with, obviously, because to me, they're one and the same. So I kind of learned that, I followed through research, I learned that Mary was really just an extension of Isis. So after that, Lakshmi. But I digress. Okay. How did you first meet other pagans? The first other pagans that I met in my area where I live, I actually went to the Witchfox website and looked up local pagans. I found a high priestess around here. I emailed her and asked her if I could come to a ritual. And my first ritual I ever attended was a Samhain ritual. Beautiful Samhain ritual. And that's how I met some of the pagans around here, which I really don't see them that much anymore. I need to meet other pagans. It wasn't a great, there was some stuff happening in that group, and a lot of the pagans were going through a hard time, and our group just kind of dwindled down. But anyway, let's see. What was the first festival, meetup, or public gathering you attended? Like I said, it was Samhain, and it was beautiful. What was the first class or workshop you took? The first class I took was a religious studies class, or I kind of looked at it as a year and a day because it ran a year, although I didn't get to finish it. I think I talked about this in another video. My high priestess was going through some serious life changes. I got almost just maybe 2 months short of completing it, and she says that I'm going to get to complete that via email soon, so yay. But I learned all sorts of interesting stuff from her. What was the first chant you learned? The first chant I learned was Om Shrim Lim Lakshmi Aye Swaha. And I'm not going to sing it for you because I sing terribly. What was the first method of divination you learned? The tarot. The tarot, definitely. Yeah, and I'm not a tarot master by any means. I'm still learning. I have to use the book, but that was the first magical tool that I was drawn to. Okay. What was the first method or exercise you learned for energy work? The first method that I learned for energy work was when I was taking the religious studies class. The first class we attended, she had us rub our hands together like this and make a energy ball. And I can feel it tingling right now. And then we would have partners, and we would throw the energy ball, and that person would catch it and tell us what they felt, and then that person would throw their energy ball. And that's how we first sort of did energy work. And you're supposed to, when you're done, put your hands on the ground, which I'll drop my computer if I do that right now. Okay. What is a memorable or favorite first on your path that wasn't included in the above questions? Wow. Probably the most, one of the most memorable things was when I was first searching for the goddess and, struggling and, wanting signs. And I think I talked about this in another video. I had begged for a sign, and the next day I was at a flea market, and on the ground I found a tarot card. To me, that was a very powerful moment. It was like, wow, she's real, she hears me, and that was probably, I want to say maybe 5 years ago. Yes, it's been a while. It's been a while, but that was a powerful moment. And another one was when I had a dream with a Morgan. Um, in my dream, she came to my bedroom window in the form of a raven, and it was the most beautiful dream I've ever had. Really, it was beautiful. It was intense, powerful dream, and I just knew the next day when I woke up, I still remembered it, and I was like, you know, those things don't happen to me often, so I treasure them. I treasure them dearly. Well, that is the end of the tag. Give it a try if you want to. So anyone who wants to do this, consider yourself tagged, and have a blessed day.